So I have made a couple of videos about this previously, but this is the FTX Ramraider brushed, which overall is, I found to be really good so far, but the only problem I've had with this is it doesn't drive so well when it's running on nickel metal hydride packs. It's fine for lipos, but not so much with NIMS. One of the things I did try doing with this was putting a 40 amp to 80 amp ESC in that, but that didn't seem to make much of a difference. Now the main reason why I went for brushed is, well, I got a good deal on it. I only paid about £149 for it. Yeah, but the core reason why I got brushed from Brushless in the end was because of the fact that it was more expensive to buy brushless than it was brushed, obviously. But the plan with this was to convert it from brush to brushless, and I have done so. I've got a couple of components down here. Oh yeah, they're over there. So the reason why I decided to do that, because that will work out more cost effective and cheaper than buying this brushless for me, and especially considering the parts I got quite cheaply as well, and from reputable brands, that it was actually going to be a pretty good resource to me in the end. Anyway, there is one thing I do want to try out with this first, but I just want to put it on the table just to show you. Anyway, so I'll just get the body clips off to show you where it is that I'm getting at. But the issue that I've been having with this is it tends to run very slowly on NIMS rather than... So that wasn't the original ESC that I put in. It had a 40 amp ESC, which is somewhere along here. It's up there. Oh yeah, here it is. So yeah, this is 40 amps, which I didn't feel was going to be enough for a 550 motor. Hence the reason why I thought it was slowing. And it didn't seem to work better briefly, but then it just started going all slowly again on NIMS. And you could argue that that was due to because of the currents that NIM delivered, unlike lithium polymer batteries do. But I did have quite high current NIMS, and they were made with radio controlled racing in mind. So this was a bit unusual, and I've never had this happen in any brushed setup that I've had. So one of the things that I want to try and do is I'm going to just take away the... I'm just going to open up the casing for the receiver, because I was planning on putting my own FlySky radio gear receiver in here. Just wanted to see if there's a way of taking this out. Can that come off? I don't think it can. Hang on, I'll have to put the camera down so I can get a good look at this. Okay, so I've managed to get the receiver off, but there is a grub screw, which I believe is... Okay, yeah, that would explain it. So that's off. So I got the antenna pipe off, got the antenna cap there. So there's our eTronics Pulse receiver. So I'm going to take this out, because I do want to try it with a FlySky receiver. Now, I have used FlySky across combat robots as well as quite a handful of my radio control cars, and I found FlySky, although to be very cheap, I have found it to be very good. So I'm going to take this out of the packet, just so you can get a close look for those who may not be familiar with it. Okay, so I've got it all hooked up to save time and also reduce the watch length of this video, but there it is, the FlySky GR3E. Got quite a handful of these receivers, and I've got them in my cars. They are very good. One of the things I've also done as well is I have put some mammoth tape on underneath it, and the reason why I use this stuff is because it holds it in very nicely. I've used it to hold in ESCs, I've used it to hold in other components as well, and yeah, I cannot stress enough, mammoth carpet tape is probably the best thing for adhesing or fixing on radio control components. Anyway, so I'll just get that fitted in, just hopefully it's not too much of a tight squeeze. Just about... Oh, that just about fits in. So what I'm just going to do is get the... lost the antenna pipe somewhere. So I'm going to get the antenna pipe fixed back on. I'm also going to get it binded up to the GT3B, and let's just see where things go from here. Well, that was a breeze to hook up. So it's back in business. I think I might need to... Yes, I'll need to reverse the trims on the... Well, I need to reverse the... not trims, the... I'll need to do the reversing on the servo, because obviously you can see that the direction is not the way it should be. So other than that, I just that would be a gamble doing that on the desk. So I'm going to take this outside just for a little bit, just to see how this performs on a fully charged NIM with the new receiver in it. Right, so I've got it hooked up to a freshly charged NIM. I've already adjusted the servo reversing on the steering, so let's just see how this... yeah, there it goes. That is strange because I freshly charged that one. Why is it? That's strange. Okay, so I've actually switched out the Tall and NIM packs, and I've got a Maverick Element Plus, and I've got to turn the transmitter on, that would have helped. So let's just see what comes out of this one. Okay, yeah, it still struggles with acceleration, and it's doing it again. Okay, so there's that. There's one other thing I do want to try. Okay, so something I've not actually tried in the Ramraider yet is a 3S LiPo. So I've run 2S and obviously the NIMs, but I've never actually ran a 3S pack on this. So this one I don't typically use because it's not a hard case, and I feel like with off-road stuff, hard case is pretty much not really much of a choice, because given that stones could fly into it and probably the slightest nick could cause the battery to explode. But let's just see how this runs with the 3S LiPo. Here we go. Oh wow. What the hell? You gotta be joking, that's starting to explode. Even on a 3S LiPo, it just starts slowing down, and that's fully charged. That is weird. Okay, so that was interesting. I was not expecting that to happen on a LiPo. I didn't have that issue with running 2S LiPos, but for some reason that started becoming an issue running on 3S. So it was just doing this thing where it would start off fine, and then just completely out of nowhere it would start slowing down. So, I have a feeling that the 550 motor, because I've never actually used a 550 motor in a brushed RC car setup. All the cars that have had brushless have always had 540. But I'm actually curious as to why this is, because in all the brush motor setups that I've used, regardless of the receiver, the ESC, or the motor, I've never ever had this happen. So, regardless of this issue anyway, converting this to brushless was going to be a thing that was just going to happen, you know, in the first place anyway. So to start off with, I believe that, just want to double check this is the, okay, I may as well got something I got. So in this box, we have a 80 amp ESC from Surpass Hobby. Now I have used 60 amp previously in a Plasma Edge 2. I found this to be a very good ESC, but the reason why I've stepped up from 80 amp to 60 amp is because somebody in the comments suggested that if I was going to run this thing on 3S, then 80 amp would be the way to go, as 60 amp could cause magic smoke. And I do need to get rid of the Dean's connectors. I have got plenty of XT60s, so let me just fix that real quick. There we go, so that's much better, and I always prefer these to Dean's because they're just so much easier to work with, and they plug in and out very nicely. Anyway, yeah, so the other thing I've also done is put on some mammoth tape, which I cannot stress enough. This stuff holds down components phenomenally, and I've also applied some for the switch as well. So there's our ESC, I'll just put that there for now. Now, the motor, where's that? Okay, here it is. So, in here is a blue, and I was actually surprised I managed to get my hands on a blue one, because they're very they're not that easy to come by on AliExpress in previous years, but they are more so now. So this one is a 4,370 kV brushless motor, so there's going to be a lot of oomph to that. nearly the same size as a 550 motor, but it's slightly longer than a 540, or is it? Anyway, kind of doing this very free scripted. But so I've got the ESC ready. I've got the motor here. So plan is to get the motor out, the brushed ESC out, and get those two bits in. So let's get to work.
Seen all the way to ourselves, just to know what it meant, so you don't get away. Till the hearts reconnect, I'm gonna forget it.
Okay, so that is done. The thing I'm a bit annoyed about is the fact that I didn't realise that the motor plate was designed in a certain way that I could just simply take that out without having to undo the bolt all the way out. So anyway, hey ho, it's done. But it's fitted in, it's nice and secure. The pinion gear is nicely lined up with the spur gear. Now one of the things I haven't actually done with this yet is I haven't pinned back the wiring for the motor, you know, between the ESC and the motor. I just want to double check to make sure that I've got the polarity right, so let me just go and grab the transmitter and battery quickly. Okay, so got a nickel metal hydride battery, got my FlySky transmitter. So the switch you may have noticed is at an angle because that's literally the only way I could put it round as far as the wire would stretch. But here we go. So just be a bit gentle on the trigger just to make sure I got the polarity. Okay, so that's okay, yeah, so that's wrong. I just need to switch that. Alright, so I've just switched the polarity, and I completely forgot how loud the fans are on the Surpass Hobby ESCs. So I'll just put this down on the floor. Okay, so that's reverse. Okay, so you, seems to be a few tweaks. I'm not quite sure how much charge is actually in that battery pack, but I'll go get a, might put a little bit more charge in it and see how it operates outside. Okay, so I've pinned it back with a cable tie. I was going to do a little bit of additional stuff there, but I just thought, you know what, it's not really needed. So that holds it back really well. I was going to go outside and test it out for a little bit, but I've just realised the time, and I've got to go packing and send my I've got to get my stuff ready to go to my cousin's place for Christmas. So I might have to run this at some point, well, because I'll be bringing this along with a couple of other things there as well. So I'll have to cut to when I arrive and when I am able to test this there. And here we are, and you can just about hear the fan from just about here. Yeah, so that is a loud fan on that ESC. So, got it running off the nickel metal hydride. I might try lipos later on. But for now, got it hooked up to the FlySky radio gear. So, for the first time on Brushless, let's send it. Ooh. Okay, struggling to get a bit of... Tried the manta ray on earlier. Now where's it? Oh, there it is. But that did look like it had quite a bit of kick to it, so I've not being a bit gentle on the throttle at the moment. Wait for that van to go past and then try that again. Okay, here we go. Oh my lord. That's some serious power behind that. The acceleration is a bit inconsistent. Might have something to do with some of the settings on the ESC. Well, that was faster than I actually anticipated to be, so I'm very happy with that. So I'll wrap this up as quick as I can, because I don't really want this to be that long of a video, but overall, considering that was a 7.2 nickel metal hydride pack, that had some real kick to it, and on a 7.4 LiPo, I know that's going to go flying, and here in that LiPo pack is a 3S LiPo battery, but that's not really hard case, and I am sceptical about using non-hard case packs for bashers or off-road stuff in case a stone gets to it and chips to it. I will have to save for a later video, but there we have it. That was the brushed to brushless conversion of the FTX Ramraider, which I'm actually glad I did in the end, because this for me worked out a lot cheaper than buying it brushless. It was more cost effective. I don't think I've spent more than £200 on this, whereas I think that the FTX Ramraider averages at 249, so I have saved myself quite a bit there. I'm probably going to get a good return of investment, because now that I'm using the FlySky transmitter, I'm going to probably sell on that the e-tronics transmitter that did come with this, so it's a win-win situation. Anyway, that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Might have something may have a video with shenanigans I might get up to with Matt and Jim in next week's video. But until then, see you next week.